Hoi, it's louisity again, and I will film a reading vlog for Yolk by Mary H.K. Choi. Hurrah! So I enjoy reading Mary H.K. Choi's books. I've read Emergency Contact and Permanent Record. I love Permanent Record and I enjoyed and I like Emergency Contact, and I feel that this is going to be another book that I will enjoy. So I've been enjoying a lot of Mary H.K.'s Choi's books. So yeah, I decided to actually have this one. This was a gift given to me by Casey. Thank you so much for granting my Christmas wish last year. So finally I'm about to get into it, and let us begin reading this one. So I'm going to give you a reading update. So this follows the story of two sisters, Jane and June. Now Jane is someone who is dealing with a lot of body image issues, body dysmorphia, and she and her sister June are not exactly in the best of terms. They have from what I can tell from the story, have unspoken concerns, or unspoken grievances. They have a lot of elephants in the room, if that's what you would call it. And they both moved to New York, but they're living separate apartments. Jane is also dealing with Jeremy, who is a polyamorous person, and how it's not really something that Jane is aligned with, at least based on how I'm reading the story. How she feels jealous with another girl, and then in the story, Jane finds out that June is undergoing a lot of medical tests that potentially can lead to June being cancer. June really thinks that she's already having cancer, and Jane is thinking and contemplating about it. And also Jane also mentions about Patrick, somebody that I think from what I'm reading at least, Jane is liking Patrick from afar. So we'll see. But yeah, there's a lot of things that deals with body image, body dysmorphia, insecurities. So, and you can see how Jane and June are quite different in terms of their personalities. Jane is more of I'm more emotional and to what you call this, really wants to be out there and really wants to please people, while June is a little more reserved, kind of a minimalist kind of thing. So we'll see how this story goes, and we'll see how Jane and June will deal with their relationship as sisters. I find it actually interesting. I really want to read more about complicated sibling relationships, and that's one thing that I want to read more about. I'm just thinking about it lately with some of the things that are happening out there. So here's another reading update. Now, so far I have read more than 200 pages of Yolk by Mary H.K. Choi. Now, so far I can sum up the pages that I read. So Jane and June planned or decided to visit their mom in Texas, in San Antonio, Texas. And Jane gets to meet her childhood friend Patrick again, her church friend. And there's a little bit of romance right over here, and like, Jane is like falling in love with Patrick, I see. Is the feeling going to be mutual? We'll find out with the story. And so far, also, Jane gets to hear June's condition, so about, June's cancer with Dr. Ramirez, and here are some of my comments. Now, at first I was confused with a part where Jane was calling June Jane. I was like, okay, am I reading this in another perspective? It confused me a bit. Then I remembered that because I think they were near the area, and we all know that they switch IDs in order to, get things, for June to be able to still have insurance, and for, Jane to party all night long. So, yeah, so now I understood it. One thing though that I noticed, and I have yet to see and determine, is because what I noticed is like the synopsis focused on like, June, knowing that she had cancer or she has cancer, and like Jane and June will, discover or like, deal with the elephants in the room. At least that's how I understood the synopsis. And just like the romance part, I felt like there was a lot of it. Like, at least maybe it's a point wherein we get to understand Jane more, because, usually with contemporary books, you deal with a person's like circumstances or situations, like whether that is in the past or on the present. So yeah, it's just that to me, I'll see in terms of like the direction of the book. Like, when I remember with Permanent Record, I thought it was going to be something that was going to be into like a romance, a cute romance, like they met online, and like, or rather, the main character, or Pablo Neruda meets like an online, influencer, and like they date and stuff. And I thought like it really revolved around that, whereas it revolved more on like Pablo's like issues or things that he had to deal with. So yeah, I'll see how it will go with this one. If it will focus more on Jane's like romance, or will it focus on her relationship with June, her sister. I have a genuine question. Do chicken katsus have like crusts? So here's another reading update. So we got to know that, June shouldn't die because June is using Jane's ID, and if June dies, it's like Jane is the one who dies, so that would be more trouble, I guess. And we get to see them, go to Texas, to San Antonio, Texas. It makes me want to go there. Like, now San Antonio is like one of my travel destinations, and we get to see like what Jane has gone through, and like her body issues are being like revealed there as well. And also, yeah, we get to see some of like the Korean Catholic kind of lifestyle, and I can really sense a lot of like quote unquote East or Southeast Asian things here, like the whole hoarding part, that like yeah. So we'll see how this goes. And yeah, Jane's dinner with Patrick got canceled, so there's a little bit of a little something right over there. So yeah, so we'll see how this story goes. It's kind of actually the pacing is not really that quick. It's kind of like, well, typically contemporary book is like more character driven, but it's like you get to really know more about what's going on with the characters. It doesn't really deal with like, oh, when are you going to be telling our parents about your condition, June? It's not like that. It's more of like really knowing what Jane has gone through, which is kind of like the catch with, Mary H.K.'s novels. There's a lot more, or there's something else more than, let's say, the cover or the synopsis. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll catch you folks later. Cool. So there's a scene where they made references to Masked Singer. So here's another reading update. So I didn't really get much, except that we get to hear again things in the past from Jane, and like we get to hear about her life with her family back in Texas, as well as her high school life with this guy, this sort of like high school crush or high school romance, as you would call it. And then they went back to New York. There wasn't even any scene that June told about the surgery, which, I know the story is like in the perspective of Jane, but I felt like it would be great if there was a scene that tackled that, like any sort of reluctance of June not wanting to tell. I felt like there was a gap. So they're back in New York, and that is it. So it's time for me to pick my next read inside this fate jar. So it's that time again to shake, shake, shake. Time for us to pick the next read. Okay. Look, I'm going to look at the camera. See? Ooh, what could this be? I think this one is something that I just... Okay. It's an ebook. Sierra. I meant Siren. The Siren by Kiera Cass. So, it's gonna be my next read. So, I just finished reading Yolk by Mary H.K. Choi, and towards like the last parts we get to see June making the most out of, what she has before the surgery. We also get to see how Jane was dealing with her body issues and how they were trying to solve it, and how June knew it all along, and how their mother knew about June's condition and that they were there to support, and how their mother talked about why their mother left, and it dealt a lot with grief, insecurities, body dysmorphia, and some sort of unspoken, ill feelings, if that's what you call it, dealing with elephants in the room. And yeah, it was pretty good. I just thought the other works of Mary H.K. Choi had much more stronger way of conveying the narratives compared to this one, but overall this is still pretty good. I still liked how it dealt towards the end about these heavy topics. So yeah, I'm gonna be giving this book 3.75 out of 5 stars. Pardon me for the curly bangs. If you've made it this far, leave a cowboy face emoji because they mentioned some sort of a cowboy in one of the pages. So I hope you folks liked this video, and if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, click that subscribe button and hit that little bell icon somewhere down there to keep yourselves posted about my videos. I also put down links and handles of my social media accounts, so feel free to check me out and follow me there as well. As always, thank you super much for watching. Always be thankful and unleash the reader in you. Bye, y'all. Mwah.